Hello guys, welcome to my room. I'm in the middle of doing something with it and I want to show you what I've been up to lately. I also want to show you some techniques, the ones that I use. There's so many. My wall already has just this texture made real fast with plaster. It's really useful when you're painting and faux finishing. It makes it so much easier. It kind of does a lot of the finishing for you.
Alright guys, let's get started. Make sure you have your plastic down. Oh, bad dog. Anyway, so here I have an old plastic dish. It's filled with water. I keep my sponge and my brush in it so that they don't dry out with paint on them. Eventually the water gets pretty pigmented and you can even use that to glaze the wall. And here I just have an assortment of different paints and different shades of grays and blues. Got some paper towels. Oh, and the paints are just normal acrylic paints that you can get at the craft store. And here I have samples of the colors with the names. I've used this palette quite a few times, obviously. Broken down old wine box. Here I've got my paint sticks stuck to the cardboard. And I've got a couple of just t-shirt rags in different colors because you want to keep your colors separate. You don't want blue bleeding all over the place. And they are damp, so make sure you get them wet and wring out the extra water. And let's see, I believe we are ready to start. Alright, let's go guys. So I start off by mixing my paint and putting a little bit on the palette. And then I get the excess water off of my brush using the gray rag and mix the damp brush into the paint. This makes what is called a glaze, and you can experiment by using different water to paint ratios. Working in fairly large sections, spread the paint on randomly and quickly. You don't want to let it dry completely. You want the paint to be more or less halfway dry when you start ragging it off. Experiment with different brush strokes, stippling, and really grind the paint in some spots. Remember, it's supposed to be random, so try not to think too much and it'll be a lot more fun. The amount of water in the rag affects how much paint it takes off, and here I think it is a bit too much. So I'm just going to wring it out over the little bucket and hope it makes it. I got most of the water in, I believe. Rag off the paint randomly as well, wiping in different directions, and at this point, I think the rag is damp enough that I can just press it in different spots and it leaves a nice texture behind. Since there's no way I'm going to drag all my furniture out of my room, I'm working on one wall at a time, sporadically, over a few weeks. But if you can clear the room and stand a marathon painting session, you can probably have it done in a matter of days. I've been at it for a few days already, but when you first start, begin with the lightest colors, then add your medium and darker shades. I prefer to paint the glaze on in layers, so I can build up the colors gradually. Also, more layers will give the finished effect much more depth, like marble or watercolor. These techniques I'm showing you are super basic, and once you get used to it, it's really easy. You can just paint and put on your documentaries or music or whatever it is you do and just glaze your little heart out. It'll be a lot of fun once you really get in your zone. Apply your paint with different brushes and sponges and use varying degrees of pressure when you wipe it off. Also, don't forget to keep a separate damp rag for each color family. I have one for gray and one for blue. So obviously my favorite tools for faux finishing are brushes, sponges, and rags, but there are so many things you can use, like textured rollers and scrapers. Look around Home Depot and Hobby Lobby, or even the dollar store to find the tools that work for you. For rags, you can either cut up old t-shirts and towels, or buy a bag of rags for a couple of dollars in the automotive section at your local big box store. Make sure to stand back and take a look at your work periodically. That way you can decide if you want to do more layers, different colors, or move to a different section. The whole process can end up taking a while, but the end result is going to be beautiful, I promise. Just try to be patient with yourself and the techniques, because like I said, there is a bit of a learning curve. The very first room I attempted faux finishing was my bathroom, and at first I only used the sponge, and I sponged it on in such a way that the darkest colors ended up looking like mold up in the corners of the room, and I hated it. So I had to start all over. I painted the entire room blue and started from scratch. So I spent about a week on it before I realized that I hated it, and the way it looked like mold was making me sick. So I started all over. But now I absolutely love my bathroom walls, so it was totally worth it. Also, remember to be sweet to your boyfriend when he interrupts you, because he will. Boyfriends are sweet and curious creatures, and they can't help themselves. Shoo him away quickly though, so you can get back in your zone. And moving your head side to side like so will help you examine your painting skills. At this point, I'm getting a little tired of painting, so I decided to switch to my favorite handy dandy sponge so I can get in one last section. The sponge gives a completely different effect than the brush, and I absolutely love it. I start by just pressing the sponge on the wall lightly, and then I get to smushing and blending out all the harsh edges. And here I'm about to bring it to a stopping point. I've painted all I really feel like painting for one day, so I'm gonna bring this session to a close. It's good. I think I'm happy with it for now.
There you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I covered everything. There are so many different faux finishing techniques, but these are just a few of the simpler ones that you can use when you already have a textured wall. Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, click like, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, god damn it. Hope those are helpful. Hope it was helpful. Why am I being such a chicken shit?